Unleash the power of knowledge and connect with the heartbeat of the African diaspora. Download our African Diaspora News Channel app now on Google Play and Apple App Store. Stay informed with authentic and diverse perspectives, breaking news, and cultural insights. Immerse yourself in a community that celebrates unity, resilience, and progress. Experience the vibrancy of the diaspora at your fingertips. Don't miss out. Empower your perspective today. Search African Diaspora News Channel and join the conversation. My name is Naledi Mfoloe, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the latest edition of the African Diaspora News Channel, where we unravel the stories that shape our world and our communities. A scandal that has rocked the Western Cape, a scandal that involves the Democratic Alliance, often referred to as the Party of Clean Governance. Now, the DA for years has actually positioned itself as the moral compass of South African politics, advocating for transparency, good governance, and ethical leadership, right? But the latest revelation surrounding a 1.2 billion rand tender for land services to the Western Cape schools has exposed serious questions about the party's own integrity. Now, let's break this down, right? Because I think it's time we ask the hard questions. The tender in question was awarded to Blue Networks Custodium, and right from the start, right, the process has been marred by irregularities. The forensics report by Cliff Hofmeyer paints a picture of a flawed process, which is conflicting pricing options submitted by the BNC, which should have been disqualified them outright, right? Now, alongside the fact that only 3 of the 11 bidders met the local content requirements, not to mention that Dimension Data, which is one of the leading bidders, was unfairly disqualified on a technicality. Now, this raises serious questions about the fairness and transparency of the whole tender process. But here's the kicker, right? Despite all these red flags, no real action has been taken. The DA-led administration has not followed through on recommendations to actually re-evaluate the tender. Why? Because the forensic report was crystal clear. Now, I've got to ask, right? Where's the outrage? If this was a scandal involving the ANC, the streets would be filled with protests. News outlets would be covering every detail, and calls for accountability would be deafening. But when the DA, the so-called Party of Clean Governance, is involved, there seems to be a form of silence. And where are the hawks, right? The SIU or any of the law enforcement agencies that have been quick to act in ANC corruption cases? Why is there a double standard? It's honestly disturbing. We've seen the ANC's corruption cases splashed across the headlines time and time again. And while there's no excuse for their mismanagement, why do we turn a blind eye when it's the DA at fault? I mean, this isn't just hypocrisy. It's dangerous. The system of justice is supposed to apply to all equally, but time and again, we see that when it comes to the DA corruption, there's a lack of accountability. But you know what? This isn't a one-off. This DA corruption scandal is just the latest in a string of questionable dealings. And let's take a look at the track record for a moment, right? Firstly, we have the Grant Twig sanitation, which is another case where the DA was actually implicated in tender irregularities, but no real accountability followed. And the second case is the 30 million rands misallocation in Cape Town. Now, this is the city of Cape Town, which is under the DA leadership, which spent 30 million on a roof for a boxing match while housing budgets went largely unspent. And then we have the boy housing corruption, which is the senior DA officials, including Malusi Boy, were implicated in corruption dealings regarding housing projects. And then there are the gang connections. I mean, we've heard rumors about the DA politicians allegedly having ties with known gangsters in Cape Town, right? But yet, they have often been downplayed or ignored. And here's my question to the Cape Townians, and I mean this with all due respect, right? Why are you tolerating this? Why do you continue to vote for a party that repeatedly engages in corruption, yet somehow escapes the same scrutiny that any other party would face? And if these scandals were happening under the ANC's watch, the streets would be in flames with protest. But when it's the DA, it's crickets. And it's as if their reputation as the clean party actually gives them immunity. And that's not only frustrating, it's dangerous for the future of our democracy. I mean, you can't have it both ways, right? You can't tell me the DA is the party of good governance, then turn a blind eye when they're involved in corruption scandals that rob the people of the Western Cape and the people of South Africa of resources that should be going towards the betterment of the community. The DA is no different from the ANC when it comes to corruption. The only difference is that they know how to hide it. Mm-hmm. They know how to keep the public distracted with promises of better governance while their officials line their pockets behind closed doors. And I believe it's time for the people of the Western Cape to wake up. The 1.2 billion rands tender scandal isn't just a small mistake. It's a glaring example of how the DA has allowed corruption to creep into their ranks, all while positioning themselves as the party of clean governance. And the people of Cape Town deserve better. They deserve a government that is transparent, that is accountable, and free of corruption, no matter who is in power. And if the DA is really serious about being the party of good governance, then they need to start acting like it. They need to be held accountable for their actions, just like any other political party would be. Corruption doesn't have any color or a party affiliation to it. It's wrong, and it should be rooted out whenever it happens. And to Capetanians, to South Africans at large, I say this. Don't be complicit in the system. Don't let the DA or any party get away with corruption just because they know how to play the game well. Demand answers. Demand better. This is your country. This is your city. This is your future. And if you stay silent, you're part of the problem. Please, let's engage in the comment section. We want to hear from you. What are your thoughts in regards to this? And while you're at it, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. That's it from me. Till we meet again, it is goodbye for now.